Hey, what's up guys? John here. This Friday, July 9th, the World Economic Forum is getting together with an event called Cyber Polygon, where they go through a chain of events of what they think the world would look like without power and infrastructure. Think no cell phones, no internet connections, no food transportation, no gasoline, no hospitals, everything completely wiped out. What's interesting, and this sounds kind of far-fetched, but what's interesting is that very group got together in October of 2019, and they discussed the same situation, except rather than a power outage, they were talking about a pandemic. And interestingly enough, that same pandemic was the one that we walked into. So we have to ask ourselves, what could they know that we don't know? Or vice versa, what should we do to get prepared for what could be the inevitable? This is Klaus Schwab. This is what he said.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
Now, I wish this could be something that we could easily write off, something that is, not credible. However, if we look at who's a part of the World Economic Forum, we will see some of the biggest companies and some of the largest corporations inside of this World Economic Forum umbrella, as well as some of the political leaders that run some of the most prominent countries in the world, all a part of this forum. With that being considered, we have to ask ourselves, what is the best plan and the best strategy for all of us? Even think cryptocurrencies. What would cryptocurrencies look like in the event of an outage where Bitcoin, Monero, even all of these new altcoins that people have very high confidence levels in, Dogecoin, how would these coins perform after something like this? Please drop your comments below, smash the like button. I'm going to share everything that I know and everything that we can kind of discuss together here to get us prepared for what could be the real new normal. On Friday, there was a ransomware attack, allegedly. $70 million. This isn't a fluke situation. Remember the JBS food distributor that was hacked? The Colonial Pipeline that was hacked? They said it was by Russians. Interestingly enough, this very situation, $70 million in crypto, is what they're trying to get, apparently. They're attacking the food supply chain, the supply chains. The gang behind the colossal ransomware attack has demanded $70 million paid in Bitcoin in return for a universal decryptor that it says will unlock the files of all the victims. The Rebel Group claims its malware, which initially targeted U.S. IT firm Kaseya, has hit 1 million systems. This number has not yet been verified, and the exact total of victims is unknown. However, it does include 500 Swedish Coop supermarkets, 11 schools in New Zealand, 2 Dutch IT firms have also been hit, according to the local media reports. On Friday, cybersecurity firm Huntress Labs estimated about 200 firms have been affected. The supply chain attack initially targeted Kaseya before spreading through corporate networks that uses its software. Kaseya said that fewer than 40 of its own customers have been affected. But because Kaseya provides software to manage service providers, firms which themselves provide outsourced IT services to other companies, the number of victims may be much greater. And the number of individual computer systems within those victims' organizations could be greater still. Kaseya chief executive Fred Vacola told the Associated Press that the number of victims would be probably in the low thousands, made up of small organizations such as dental practices and libraries. So we see the direction where this is headed, but we then ask ourselves, what could the world be like without power, without the everyday necessities that we have, that we enjoy, gone, wiped out? It seems so crazy. It almost seems like a conspiracy. On this channel, I talk about personal finance, real estate, business, and money. And this power grid situation, I wish I could ignore it. I really do. But when I see the world leaders talking about this being a big issue, and we see the attacks, the cyber attacks, the power outages, we have to ask ourselves, is this the beginning of the problem, or is it the end of the problem? And if it is the beginning, and this channel does focus corely on real estate, personal finance, and business and money, how will those aspects be impacted if there's no power and the power grid goes down for quite some time? I think all of those will be impacted in a level and at a scale that we could have never imagined before. I do think that this is very likely. I think this is more likely to happen than not to happen, because if it was not to happen, then the world leaders wouldn't be talking about it so much and these events would not be so consistent. Interestingly enough, just a couple years ago, even before that, none of these situations ever happened. Yet now it's almost bi-weekly. One big event unfolds after another big event. One of the major keys with the Biden administration is climate change, combating climate change. They say getting off of fossil fuels is imperative. For example, we're not going to successfully fight climate change if we trade pipeline for pipeline, oil project for oil project, he said. We have to transform the economy. Transform the economy. Investing in expensive fossil fuel infrastructures like pipeline really puts the administration's ability to deal with climate change at risk. A letter signed by 134 House Democrats calls on Biden to ensure the infrastructure legislation includes robust spending that matches the scale of the challenge of climate science tells us we face. Gotta trust science. Vox, the U.S. power grid isn't ready for climate change. In Portland, Oregon this week, the recorded official temperatures reached 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Power cables for the city's streetcars melted, sagging overhead wires forced the light rail to shut down. More than 6,000 people lost electricity, but it's far from the first time extreme weather has caused a serious problem with the power grid in recent months. During the winter storm that hit Texas in February, nearly 5 million people lost power. But don't worry, Biden has a solution. The old problem, reaction, solution. Fixing the power grid can't be done in one fell swoop. Instead, the power grid will need to be updated by transitioning to cleaner energy sources like wind and solar, adapting grid and energy storage infrastructure to adjust to these new types of power, and changing our approach to energy consumption. Think about what that actually means for all of us. Changing our approach to energy consumption in general. This system also needs to predict and respond to changes in every energy demand. One part of the solution is smart grid technologies, which uses internet-connected sensors on various parts of the grid to collect a lot more detailed data on how well those parts are working. The real-time data that can also help utility companies quickly resolve potential problems before they become widespread. The Biden administration supports deploying this tech, which could be key to making power grids more resilient. In April, the White House also freed up $8 billion in order to boost the grid's capacity to support renewable energies and committed to making it even easier for newer renewable-focused transmission lines to be approved. Joe Biden is now pushing to modernize the grid as part of his massive infrastructure plan. Through the plan, the administration is hoping that the government will be able to spend at least $73 billion on improvements, including building thousands of miles of new transition lines to expand renewable energies. Transition lines can link areas that need energy in places where wind and solar are cheap, which can be separated by thousands of miles. This would help to boost the business case for wind and solar. The proposal calls for new grid authority to facilitate clean energy transition and an infrastructure financing authority to help come up with money to pay for it. The only way they're going to be able to pay for it is through us. But changes have to go beyond the federal government. Equipment needs to be updated on the regional and local level too. Whether Biden will be successful in addressing the complex challenges of updating the grid remains to be seen. Without government action, private companies will be left without the job of fixing the grid, and there's no guarantee they'll put the long-term protection of the U.S. power supply ahead of their profits. How can they really do something like this? I mean, we can talk about climate change, we can talk about the power grid, we can talk about all the things that Biden are talking about, but imagine how quickly all of this change would happen in the event of something like Klaus Schwab, what he's saying could happen. The power grid, everything going out, getting wiped out, no one being able to make money, because a lot of people make money through technology, through their cell phones, through their emails. not being able to access your money at the bank. All of this being wiped out is a big, big potential issue that I'm not going to say is a theory any longer. I mean, when we have the world leaders talking about this, saying that this is something that's very likely to happen, I'm going to take that very seriously. Now we have this July 9th situation where they're preparing for a catastrophic event. And if that does happen, we got to ask ourselves, and we got to get prepared right now. Drop your comments below. I'm curious as to what you guys think about everything that is unfolding with the administration, with the World Economic Forum, with the preparation, and with all these current events that are unfolding before us almost daily. Drop your comments below. Smash that like button. When you do, you're helping share this video to educate more people as to what's really going on. Consider subscribing here, and also consider subscribing to my second channel. I'll leave the links down below. See you guys in the next video. If you've enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into the real world of real estate investing, make sure to check out my gold standard program, Cash Flow Burner Blueprint, by clicking the link in the description below this video. We're currently living in very difficult times. I personally believe these are some of the hardest times that we've ever lived in. We are losing, in many cases, our families, our businesses, our jobs, our sense of security. All this is at threat right now, and it's all thanks to the draconian shutdowns that we're all faced to live under. It's times like these that we can see the value in having more than one stream of income. This is certainly not an unattainable goal or something reserved for only a select few. It is the achievement through education and hard work. Now is the time to be relying on multiple streams of income and not just Big Brother. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you think that your pension is going to cover your retirement, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Don't wait until misfortune knocks at your door. Be proactive and create more security for yourself and your family. One of the best ways you can earn a side hustle today is through real estate investing, something that I've been involved in for over a decade. The strategy is to invest in multifamily homes and live off of rental income through your tenants. These are some of the homes and apartments I currently own and I'm renting out. In my Cash Flow Blueprint, I'll teach you the ins and outs to real estate investing. You'll learn everything about recession-proof investing, real estate versus stocks, different types of real estate investing, how to appraise your own deals so you're not leaning on a third party to tell you what something is worth, out-of-state investing, maximizing your profits, and minimizing your expenses, improving your credit score, different types of loans and which one best fits you and your deal, selecting the right mortgage broker, finding the best deal, lease agreements, and how to find great tenants, and many, many more topics. This is my gold standard program, and in it I put together 1 decade's worth of experience and millions of dollars that I've invested, saving you the time and the money to learn the lessons that I had to learn. To learn more, click the link in the description below this video.